I'm happy to introduce Mike and Shellie from BakeSmart, and they will be talking about e-commerce.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. Thanks to Dawn for hosting. It's been really great. Thanks to the RBA for bringing people together in this industry. I'm excited to see more of that in the future. Just really cool when bakers get together and you see problems get solved, and hurts get healed. The stress of running bakeries. I'm Mike from BakeSmart. I'm the owner. Been doing this my entire adult life. Originally started with my dad, who did custom software. Got approached by a group of bakers that said, hey, we need a better solution in the industry. Why don't you build it and then sell it? I graduated college. It was a week before graduating college. Went to a trade show. We got some customers. That's what I've been doing ever since. So never thought I'd be a bakery software salesperson and owner of a company, but life's funny that way. So it's been a lot of fun. Excited to do it. Excited for what's ahead.
Yeah.
And this is Shellie.
Yeah, so my name is Shellie Slove, and I'm recently, about a year ago, joined the BakeSmart team. I was a former customer and bakery owner-operator. So I was born and raised in a generational bakery. I was not involved in the family business. In March of 2020, when we lost my father very unexpectedly to a massive heart attack as he was pulling into the bakery. So as everybody who sits in here who had your bakery in March of 2020, kind of knew the immense stress and unprecedented time that we were in that month specifically. So my mom and dad were partners, business partners, through the course of the 35 years that they owned the bakery. And it just left my mom in a situation where she needed everybody, employees, long-term employees, family, to just like surround her and kind of figure out how to navigate the ship through the season of just loss of my dad, who was sitting at the helm of the ship all of these years. And I left my career to step in, and really within probably the first year, we realized that this was something that we wanted to drive to a sale. So none of the kids wanted the business. There wasn't a really strong vision for an employee takeover or selling to an employee. So we were like, we gotta go find a buyer. And BakeSmart was actually the tool that led us to that ability. One of the very first things we did is use BakeSmart and I was new to BakeSmart. I stepped in when I was previously involved in the business. We had a different software system, and I was away for about a decade, and they had brought BakeSmart in the meantime. So I'm walking into new technology, and I partnered with Mike to teach me how to basically get nutritional data from BakeSmart, got labels on some of our products, and got into our first grocery store, because we needed a way to make up that wholesale loss. And then the second game-changing thing we did was launch our e-commerce store. And it came with a lot of conversations with my mom, who didn't really feel comfortable and excited about e-commerce because she grew that business bellying up to the counter and to the cases with her customers. But to me, it was a no-brainer. We had to figure out a safe and easy way for our customers to shop with us. So I'll never forget the day we launched our e-commerce store. I was in bed at like 10 p.m. and my phone just started ding, 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 because I had it set up to email me when we got an order in. And I have goosebumps now telling the story, because it was like, wow, this works. And for us, it was really revolutionary, and it then actually having that help us drive to the sale of our bakery, because people saw, the new owners saw that we had it already built out. It was a proven model, it was working. So when the RBA came and asked us if we would present in e-commerce, I was thrilled. I said, yeah, I love it. I could talk all day about e-commerce. So today's talk, we're gonna kind of walk through just what the shopping of the new generation looks like. What does it look like when people are shopping your bakery? There are people who are going to adapt to e-commerce, and then there are people who will not adapt to e-commerce. And we want to talk about that and how to prepare for both. And then also give you some really proven tips and tricks to make sure that your e-commerce game is strong, it's staying relevant, it's staying successful and profitable for you. So that's our agenda here. The first thing I really want to talk about before we get into this is that e-commerce in our mind is not just your website. It's not just your e-commerce on the web, even though that's a big portion of it. we're really passionate about bringing that same technology into your brick and mortar retail store. We do that through the kiosks, we do that through just keeping signage and really bringing the visit into your store, driving customers into the habit of going to your website, even if they're not used to it. So we're going to talk through that a little bit more. It's not just this like set it and forget it thing that you build on the website, but it's a much more fluid and alive. And as you're building things in your storefront, you should also be marrying that and doing that on your different e-commerce platforms, and then using social media to drive it.
Yeah, it's been interesting, right? So when e-commerce started to take hold, honestly, about 20 years ago, we had our first e-commerce customer. It was like, oh wow, I can sit at my laptop and take a cake order at home, right? And then a couple of years later, an iPhone came out, and it was like, okay, wow, I can order a cake on my phone, right? And so the technology moved to the consumer, and so you had to move to the consumer. And what we're seeing now is the technology is actually moving back to everywhere where you meet with the consumer, and you're seeing more kiosks in stores. There are some places I go, well, that's the only way to get what you want. I was driving over today. I was in Defiance, Ohio. Anybody familiar with that? Right? It's not a huge town. Went to the Citgo, and I won't tell you what I got. It wasn't healthy. But I went and I was like, hey, I'm ready to pay. And he's like, just throw it down there. And I was what? And I put it down, and there's an AI camera that takes a picture, figures out what it is, totals it up, and he's like, and then you just pay for it. And I'm like, thank you for being here. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just point here and point here. What a world. Like, so it's amazing how it came to the customer, and now the customer wants it everywhere. Or it's becoming a better level of service in some regards.
We'll talk about how
we'll
talk about how that works. But basically, who's shopping on e-commerce? It's the millennials, the Gen X's, and the Gen Z's. Go ahead.
Who are in their 40s, right? Like we're talking most of the population.
Yeah.
At this point.
So basically, it is, and it's not just that they want it; they expect it now. So when you are used to, this is a really interesting thing that we talked about in the last one, is that Dunkin' Donuts, I read a recent article in Bake Magazine that they are opening every 6 hours. They're launching one of their next gen stores. So basically what they're doing is they're going to all of their existing locations, and they're infiltrating all of these kiosks and technology into it. So when you go into a Dunkin' Donuts now, it is like you don't get met with a person. What you get met is with a kiosk. But the ones that are managed correctly and well, in my opinion, are the ones that actually have a sales team member out there and giving a level of service that is welcoming and exciting, but also helps those people who might not be so comfortable with the technology to walk them through the process. One of the things I really want to start before we get into this, although I do believe that bakeries should all be laser focused on how to bring technology into their operations, I am really passionate about bakeries being the heart and soul of their communities. You know, growing up in one and knowing how special a bakery visit is to the people who visit your brick and mortar is something that I hope all bakeries keep forever. There's nothing like watching a kid who either had a great day at school or a bad day at school be brought into their bakery, their neighborhood bakery, afterwards by their parents, by their mom, to like fix the day, or go there to celebrate a good grade on a test, or a married couple that comes in excited to like pick out their wedding cake, and then you see that kid for their first birthday, and they have a tradition almost of shopping your bakery. That is all what we're trying to help build, but also stay really relevant as the generations are aging and people are shopping just differently. It's just a different thing that we gotta adapt our bakeries to. So basically, young families, we're gonna kind of talk through a few different buckets of society that we think bakeries should really hone in on and focus on. Young families is a no-brainer. This is the moms and the dads who most of them are both working, right? And the mom usually, typically, inside of the home is managing the parties. Now, she's ordering the cakes, she's running the errands, she's the one that wants to make the specialness of her kid's life. Sometimes the dad does it too. I don't mean to be gender specific here, but these people don't have time. A lot of times, bakeries change their operating hours during COVID. A lot of bakeries haven't opened them back up to full capacity because they're like, look, this is kind of cool. We're out at 4 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock, or we're out at 6 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock, and it doesn't really hurt our bottom line, and we like it, but you're missing the opportunity at times to get in front of those young families who are busy running around to sports and kids' schools. So these are a great bucket that hit the bakery customer base that are really comfortable and used to shopping online.
And you kind of already talked about it, right? So it's the laying in bed that first night with e-commerce launch and the ding, ding, ding. Those are moms or dads laying in their beds like, oh shit,
I gotta order a cake.
You gotta get a cake, right?
Or
And then they see like, well, does Lovin', oh, they do. Like, that's exciting, and so they're delighted. Oh, my local bakery does this, right? That cake was gonna get ordered that night, right? And
if it wasn't at your bakery, it might have been at somebody
else,
who
right?
they could have ordered.
That needed to get crossed off that list. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it at 10 o'clock at night in bed. So, it's just meeting them where they are when they need it.
In the middle and income households, right? So we couldn't talk about e-commerce and not talk about the fact that if you, in this current world with inflation and the cost of all the goods, as bakery owners, we know more than anybody. We're trying to just keep our margins operational. We're like, how do we keep making money? But sometimes that means that we're raising prices at a speed that we're not even sure we're comfortable with. Are we pricing ourselves out of market? So there is a difference between people who are shopping for a budget who tend to want to come to your location. They're going to look to see if there's any broken cookie bags, there's stuff on sale. They might want to pick things because it is a splurge for them. Those people are probably not your online shoppers, but who are shopping are your middle to higher income families who are so embedded in the online shopping thing that they don't even think twice about jumping on a website, adding things to carts, hitting send, and then just throwing it in their calendar, pick up the cake or pick up the bakery, 2 days from now or whatever. So there is a difference between the income bracket of people, but the good news is this middle to upper income people are most likely the people shopping your bakeries, especially for the custom cakes and the other things. So we just wanted to point that out for sure. There are some people who are not shopping your store, your e-commerce solutions, and those are going to be people who are usually 65 and older. They really don't like the idea of buying anything online. I deal with this with my mom all the time. She drives around to stores to buy things that she could easily just get delivered on Amazon. And she just prefers it. That's just her preferred shopping habit. And you know what? As you know, your bakery needs those customers. I don't know if there's a good bakery out there that doesn't have a group of men at 5:30 in the morning, bellying up to the tables, drinking their coffee. Their wives are pushing them out the door, go to the bakery, get out of here. You want that. You want your bakery to be that, but you also want to make sure that you are catering to the younger generation who are now have spending dollars in their pocket that want to do business with you as well. And then there's the people who are spontaneous, right? They're just having fun. They are having a day, they drive by the shop and they're like, we're going to pull in and we want to just get that special treat for the day. Those are the people that aren't going to shop, obviously, e-commerce. So you want to make sure that your store is set up for it. And we're not here to preach the idea of replacing all of your counter service or anything like that. It's just because there are plenty of people who shop your bakery that don't fit in the bucket of e-commerce customers. And then the lower income ones is the last. People who are just perceiving that they get a better deal when they shop
I'm one of
stores.
those people, I still go grocery shopping because I'm like, I can see that things are on sale here. I'm going to get a better deal. I can pick and choose. I can buy strategically, right? I can also pick my own produce, which is huge. But it's just I didn't realize I'm one of those who's like, nope, I'm going to go in there and get hopefully better value and be more in control of what I'm spending and make sure I'm getting everything done. So it's people come in all shapes. But I'm also, what's interesting is I'm also a young family, believe it or not. I've got a 6-month-old at home, and so we buy online for our baby whenever we can. I will show you pictures when we're done if you'd like. Even if you don't want to see her, I'll show you pictures. But yeah, convenience is a huge factor there because we don't have much time. You know what I mean? It's hard. We get like 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours a day with her awake during the week, right? We want to be in the car, going to the store to knock on everyone's. No, we don't. We want to be there poking her and making her laugh. So time is our most valuable resource, and so we try to protect that as much as we can. So that's another.
Yeah, and I just think that there's like a lot of benefits to your customers, but how does it benefit you? How does basically infiltrating your business with smart and specific technology benefit bakeries? The first and most obvious one is you never miss a sale, right? So your bakery's open 24/7 at that point. You basically are taking money in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can close your bakery for a week. We used to close our bakery for 2 weeks out of the year, and that's how we managed pay time off for our employees. And it was scary at first, but then our e-commerce store just helped us take in money during those times off. Lights are off, nobody's on payroll, and we're getting money coming in the door. So it is a huge benefit of having a well-built e-commerce solution at your shop. And then another really interesting stat, which is if you think about it, customers shop bigger when they shop online. So, and I don't know what this is, but there are tons of studies that we actually pulled and have sourced for all of this. If anybody's interested in it, we did not make this up, but the average ticket of an online sale at a bakery is over $50. That is also proof from our customers that run e-commerce stores. We pulled all the numbers, $50 or more. An average ticket price at a bakery, now if they're not, planning an event, is $15 to $25. Somebody stopping in your shop to pick up a coffee cake, some donuts, some cookies, some bread, they're gonna spend between $15 and $25. If they go online to buy that, they're gonna probably spend another $10 to $15. That is a huge benefit to you because you have less labor to take that order and you just got a higher ticket price. So that cannot be understated how important that is.
Yeah. It's also because it gives you an opportunity to market things that you maybe don't carry in your store all the time, right? So they can browse items that with 2 days notice you can whip together.
Yep.
So it does give that opportunity too. You can sell beyond your case.
Exactly. And then the customer loyalty program is something that we cannot understate as probably one of the things that we believe is going to become so important as we drive into the next 5 to 10 years. I don't know if any of you guys are not many bakery owners are Starbucks fans, but I am not one either, except when I downloaded the app. And they have this really awesome program on their app where you can collect stars. And there are days when I was not even planning on going to Starbucks, but I randomly open the app to see if there's a special on it, and there is, and I can go today and get double the stars. So I'm driving over to Starbucks to treat myself to a Starbucks just so I can get double stars that day. So what an e-commerce store does is, with the right software, is that when your customer goes to log in, they intrinsically have to put in their phone number. You create a loyalty program attached to the phone number. They can pull up past orders. So let's say they had a birthday cake last year for their 5-year-old. This year, he loved his birthday cake. This year, he's like, Mom, I want the same birthday cake, but it's gonna be in Minecraft this year and not Ninja Turtles. So you're like, I don't remember what the cake was. The bakery has it. You just log into your account. You can look and see past orders. You can repeat that order. You can really service your customers in a way that takes a lot of work if they aren't doing it on their own at their home. And then they earn points for that loyalty. So then you have this great loyalty program that you're incentivizing your customers to not only order birthday cakes and celebration cakes, but then come use the report or the rewards that you've earned on that to stop in for a special treat a different day. So it's just a really cool thing. We at BakeSmart, we have a loyalty program built into our software now where it all gets managed within the software, and we're only looking to build and expand that because we really do believe that this generation of customers and consumers are only becoming more and more interested in what they get from giving their loyalty to businesses.
It's good. So it's like this is the next thing that's coming in customer loyalty. There's a company actually in Indianapolis that's getting seed money to start it's gamifying customer loyalty, right? So they're turning it into a game. Starbucks is doing a pretty good job with it. but you get rewards. There are tiers, levels. It's like playing an app on your phone where you earn enough points that you can then turn into a reward. So you're hitting reward centers, and they feel in a sense of achievement too, right? Which is I love that. But like we're simple creatures, right? Like it's taking it just from being like, oh, this is the place I go, and every time I spend $100, I get $5 back, to, oh, look, I'm earning, and you can see my guy moving across, and he's turning into a cupcake or whatever it is, and he's got a cupcake crown now. However that shapes out, it's turning it into a game for people where they're going to engage more with your business, and you will see the returns on that. Otherwise, apps wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like people are figuring this out and applying that across the board.
You pick your slowest day, a Wednesday in July, and you say you get double the points, or you say come in and spend $5 and you get a free visit, and you get something. You strategically build these programs to drive people into your business on your slow seasons and in your slow days.
And it's really just your imagination at that point that controls it. You know what I mean? It's a power up, and you can use this to redeem 12. It's fun. You can make different. You have to achieve 3 different things in order to unlock this reward. You guys all waste your time on your phones, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Good. Yeah.
And this is a obvious one too. When you put the ordering process in the customer's hands, you're going to reduce order errors and increase efficiency. And as Lynn and I were talking about yesterday, when a customer types the spelling of their kid's name wrong on the order form, and then your decorator writes it wrong, it's a very different conversation when you agree to fix that. They're not asking for the bigger discount. They're way more pleasant. They're less angry at you because they own the mistake. So there is that intrinsic benefit in it, but there's also just the efficiency that not only your sales team, right? So you can just imagine how easy it is to hit print. You have the order, it goes right into your order management system, whatever it is that you have set up. But then your decorators and your bakers actually have a repeatable, formatted form to always look at. So the more business you can drive to e-commerce, the more that the flavor filling, icing, decorations, inscriptions on your cake tickets, or on your just reading orders when you're a production person in the back of the house. It all just makes everything flow more efficiently. So there are countless ways that you'll see that affect your business in a positive way in the back of house even.
And that's true just in an order management system in general, right? You're getting your pricing right. You're not forgetting to charge for those upcharged servings. We had a customer that did an analysis because they implemented our system, and they're like, yeah, we use you for orders, and I'm just like, okay, life's good, this is great. They weren't using us for managing their cake orders, and I was like, I set these up, dude, like, what's going on? And they were still writing them by hand, and they went through 6 months of handwritten orders, and were like, oh, was it 15 or 20%, missing out on 15 or 20% of their cake business from people not upcharging for fillings, decorations, premium flavors. And they're like, we have to do this immediately. And I mean, they're a healthy size business. They're well over $1 million a year, and cakes were half their business. So you're pushing. I think it was like $75,000, $80,000 a year that just was gone, like lost money.
And you also let your customers price themselves out of their design. So how many times have we wasted labor talking to a customer that has spent a year planning her kid's first birthday? She's grabbed 17 pictures from Pinterest, and she wants an element here and an element here and an element here. And she comes in and she's talking to the high schooler that got broken up with at school today. And now she wants this wow experience, right? And then that girl or guy doesn't have their head in the game, and they have to go talk to management or the decorator 17 times during this process. And before you know it, you've taken the magic out of the cake order process, and you've also priced her cake way out of what she's willing to spend. So what you can do is you put really cool designs on your website, and then you let the customers price themselves out of their creations on their own dime and on their own time. Then when they understand what they're willing to invest in it, then they can actually do all of that without you. And it really helps them put a price tag. There's all these shows, and Pinterest, I want to blame for most of it, is because they have these TikTok, another apt to blame. That people think it's all so cool, and then they come in and you're like, yeah, it's gonna be $300 for that cake. And they're like, what do you mean? And it's like, that's what it costs. Let them figure that out by shopping other designs on their cake, on your site, to get a rough bucket of what they're looking to spend. And then if they still wanna do it, at least you've educated that customer a little bit more, because they've shopped your site a bit. Now they know, okay, I got to dig a little deep into my pocket to get this cake.
So we can run through some of the numbers that we've seen just from our customers last year, right? So we've got about 25 of our customers running our e-commerce solution, right? So fully integrated into our program. They load their catalog in, upload it, customers shop that, place the orders, pay for it, orders get downloaded, and then we have all the reporting on it. So there were nearly 80,000 orders across those 25 customers, heavily weighted towards ones that were doing it the full year, and just the ones that have really pushed on online ordering. Like they're fun, hey, thanks for calling X Bakery. Go to our website if you're placing a cake order, right? Like really pushing it towards their online.
Yep, and of those 80,000,
yeah, go ahead.
No, you had.
No, you know the number, I don't.
Yeah,
That's why I
it's a little over. So they brought in, of those 80,000 orders, they brought in a little over $4 million.
Oh, this number.
Yeah, this. Yeah.
I thought. Okay.
Yeah, $4 million, which, so basically what that shows us is, and really 25%, you can skip it, yeah, 25%, we'll start here, I guess.
Yeah.
Slightly more than half of those online orders were over $50. So they were averaging, the top 25%, what, 60 something dollars? Yeah, $60. So that's the average ticket price of our customers, real data that we culled to like get ready for this presentation. And I was kind of blown away by that. I was like, look, that tells me people are going to these bakeries' websites for a cake, they're planning a party, or they're having friends over, and they're shopping. They are shopping on your e-commerce site. It is not them coming into the bakery, and it's they're spending money on these sites, and it's a really positive number. Obviously, the average order values were the highest in December. That's a no-brainer. But then May and June, I thought that was pretty cool. It's showing that custom cakes is what we're really passionate about. I can't even tell you how many bakeries since I've joined the BakeSmart team I've talked to that believe that their bakery's too custom to work in software. And I'm like, but we have a proven model. You guys don't do anything different than all these other bakeries that are doing it. So let's look at the numbers here. Because what people want is, you're gonna have your 10%, maybe less, that want to dump a couple $100s into this custom creation that they come out of their imagination. Everybody else just wants to have fun scrolling through pictures, picking a design that matches the theme or something that interests them, and then they get to pick their flavor, filling, icing, colors, inscription. It's just custom enough to make them feel like they're part of the order process. And what that means to you is that you don't pay that labor. You literally do it one time, you put that cake up, and then you focus on the next cake that's going up or the next product that's going up. I remember when we were in COVID and TikTok blew up cocoa bombs, hot cocoa bombs. Anybody here get on that, jump on that bandwagon? You did. Okay, we did too. It was because we were like, we were just grabbing for things. We were like, how do we get our retail numbers up to take care of that missing wholesale business? And cocoa bombs were crazy. They blew up on TikTok, and before you know it, we sold, I don't know, like within a month, we sold like 10 grand in cocoa bombs. We learned how to make them. We put somebody in charge of them. We blew up our social media with them. We put them on our e-commerce page, and before you knew it, it was like one of the leading products of our holiday season, cocoa bombs. So what that basically just says is you gotta leverage e-commerce and get in front of these people. When the trends hit, let them order now. You should never have something on your website that doesn't have an order now button by it, because you don't want to just put a picture on your website and not give the customer the ability to give you money for it right then and there,
So it's interesting. There's been a sort of an evolution of the customer, right? I remember like 15 years ago when everyone wanted their own custom experience, right? You had to treat like the white glove experience. Everyone had to feel like they were special and the only ones. And then like 5 years later, they're like, I just don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to get it done here, and now they want both. Now they want a unique experience tailored just for them on their phone, right, on their device, on whatever
Correct.
they're on. So they want to choose designs, decorations, flavors. They want to feel like they are a part of the creative process, right? Just like liking a TikTok
Exactly.
video, like I did it.
I did it, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is our top customer. So our top e-commerce customer at BakeSmart brought in $875,000 just on their e-commerce store alone, and that brought in about 11,000 unique customers. So all in, they had about a little over 16,000 orders that came in their e-commerce store, which attributed to a little over half of all orders for their bakery. And their goal is to break the $1 million mark in 2024, and we know they're going to hit it. Because what they do is they're looking at e-commerce, like we talked about in the forefront, as not just a set it and forget it e-commerce store. They send out weekly, if not, if it's a busy, like there's lots of little holidays they're celebrating in their store. I'm getting 2 emails. I joined their email list to watch what they're doing. And they have really smart newsletter marketing going on into their customers' boxes with order now buttons right on there that link them straight to their e-commerce store. And this is
to
really
the product.
to the
Yeah.
specific product that says order now. You click it and it takes you to their e-commerce store, and you just hit add to cart on that page. So yeah, we're going to show you at the end their specific site. And we have multiple customers that are producing really large numbers and attributing to a big portion of their orders, but they're the leaders, and we think that it's pretty cool because 26% of their orders are repeat customers, and that just shows really strong brand loyalty to their bakery. And I'm really excited. I'm excited to see any bakery adapt this, but to watch them hit their $1 million mark, I am just so excited about that because the amount of investment that they've made to make that happen is pennies on the dollar to people who aren't using it.
Sure. All right, so this is, we're kind of moving on from the numbers. So just tips and tricks moving forward with e-commerce. Some of these you may know, but first, there's software out there that can solve your problem. We're one of them. It shouldn't be hard to set up, hard to use, hard to manage. The technology has moved far enough now that you should be able to get it sorted and rolling in pretty short order, right? For bakeries, you need customization, right? Just as I've been talking about before, it engages the customer. They feel like they're a part of the process, and so they form an emotional connection with the product that they then go see and pick up. They're like, oh, I did this in some way, right? And that's really powerful, and they remember that feeling when they're in your bakery picking it up, and they're going to want that feeling again the next time they have to do it, right? It's just building that loyalty and positive feedback loop, right, psychologically for your customers. And then it should be, seamless integration to your order management. The biggest reason people call us is, hey, I'm taking in-store orders over here, or I'm writing them down. I've got a website that's kind of doing its own thing, built in WordPress or something, and then I've got people who come in with typed up orders from farmers markets, right? And then they've got to bring all of that together, collate through it, you know what I mean? Like go to the clipboard, the future pile, and like, okay, what's next week? And then like tally through, like with actual tally marks, right? Like these things are great at tallying. They love it. They love it so much, right? But like tallying through and then being like, all right, I think we got to make 8 chocolate sheet cakes, right? And then, all right, how many rounds? How many yellow cake, right? And you're talking half hour wasted every day, a few times a week. It's just like that's time you want back, right? It's almost an automatic now. Is that just one system for your orders? Just no matter where they're coming from, it needs to feed into one system. That's one thing BakeSmart does really well. But we'll get into some of these.
Yeah, so as you guys just toured, well, you haven't done the Innovation Studio yet.
No,
You'll
they
do that.
haven't.
Oh, they haven't. So
Yeah.
you'll be doing that next, but you'll learn that Dawn Food is the pro at this,
Really
and
good.
really good at
We were
it.
up here talking for like 20 minutes about
And then we went and
then
saw
we were
exactly
like,
what we
that's
just like preached
really
about.
nice.
Yeah.
Lovely. They're all over.
Obviously, your online shoppers are going to shop with their eyes before they shop with anything else because they can't smell your shop, they can't feel your products, so they're shopping with their eyes. And that is the difference between obviously how you sell a cake in store versus how you sell it online, is you're always design first, always online. In the store, that conversation and that order process might look a little different depending on how you do it in your bakery, but always with the eyes first. So what that means is that you have to set up some sort of repeatable place to take photos in your shop. And being very intentional about it, and then letting your entire team understand the process, right? So you design a process. At our bakery, what we would have, we were a cake-heavy bakery. So what we did is we actually set up, very similar to the table that Dawn Foods use. It's a really tiny 4-foot little foldable white table. And we just had it there. We had a light box on it. We had a few cake stands and different props that we had next to it. And then when a decorator was done with a cake that they thought was unique, it kind of put it in their hands, they would go drop it in the photo. Not all of them. If we're doing flowers and balloons and all the things that we're seeing 100 times a day, fine. But if they did a really cool design, they're putting it there because why not sell that design to the next 100 people? I don't have to recreate that. I'm going to take the shot of it, then I'm boxing it and getting it ready for the customer to pick up. We do that too with seasonal products. If I have we used to switch our sugar cookie designs out every season. So when that time of the month would come and we would have to do that, we would have the cookie decorator would do a pan of pictures. Now, and then we would take the photos of it and then they would just go back into production. These photos not only feed your e-commerce store, but they also feed social media. They also work really well for training production. So if you print them and put them a book back next to your cookie decorators, they can always reference them. So it's a really powerful process that once you have a simple, it costs about $100 to set up a really cool pop-up light place, have a consistent background, make sure that your angles are consistent so that when you're shopping your e-commerce site, your customers are not distracted by just mismatched pictures everywhere. Consistency is really, really key with this. And then anytime you can like zoom in and get cool textured pictures, customers love that. This new generation of shoppers, they love this ASN. You guys know that sound, like those videos all over TikTok and now and stuff where people are just like making noise on video, and kids love, not even kids, like I love it. I like to watch them and you're like, oh my gosh, they want to get that experience from your bakery. So they want to see zoomed in like piping and stuff like that. Throw those pictures in because that's fun for people to shop when they're looking at your website.
So I just kind of hit the capture phone.
Yeah, and then for seasonal stuff, start early.
Right.
And capture final creations because again, that feeds your business in a lot of different ways. You can use it for decorator training, you can use it for store signage, you can use it for your e-commerce, social media. Start early. Get your planning going a month, 6 weeks before the holiday. Have your set design so that you're ready to roll because you got those type A customers out there that want to start shopping for Thanksgiving and Christmas and Valentine's Day way before you think they're ready. They're ready. You'll start seeing orders come in the minute you put them on your e-commerce store. SEO and AI tools. This is specifically with product descriptions.
Sure.
is what
Okay.
we're
So
talking about.
yeah, with SEO, I mean, obviously, you just want to be as descriptive as possible. But we also talked about some lesser known thing. Put your town in the name of your description. Best cupcakes in all of Jackson, right? Because SEO will grab that, right? Google will search that, and then you'll have a stronger response when someone's searching cupcakes in Jackson. We talked about that earlier. What was the other?
Yeah, and then using the AI tool.
AI.
So AI, I don't know how many of you guys play with AI yet, but I am a huge fan of it. And what sometimes we'll do is dump in product descriptions right into AI and tell it to think like a marketing expert. And type in your description and then have it generate an SEO smart description for it. Take that, put your little flair on it, copy and paste it right into it. You don't have to over-engineer this stuff. There are literal tools that make this really easy to do. But I can't understate enough how important SEO is because what that does is it actually really, and we'll get to this in a minute, but when you're selling, if you don't have a vibrant shipping program at your bakery, right, you're really targeting people within about a 20-minute drive from your shop because they got to come pick it up. If you don't offer delivery, and you're probably not delivering more than 20 minutes from your bakery if you do offer it, and you're not shipping it, you got to make sure that you're not wasting your efforts to reach people in China or people in California and your bakeries in Michigan. So you got to be really intentional about how you're building this so that your marketing makes a lot of sense for your brick and mortar location. And then organization, right? So we all know the importance of, I'm a trained professional organizer, did it for years when I left the bakery, and there isn't anything more powerful than an organized space. You guys know that from your production facility. When you're setting up a decorator's bench, you're thinking about where his tools or her tools are. When you set up your mixing bench, you're thinking about how far your baker and your mixer has to reach for ingredients. Same thing happens when you're setting up your storefront. You want it to be organized so when your shopper comes in, they have a really pleasant experience. You have a cookie case, a dry pastry case, a wet pastry case, a torte case. You have to do the same thing in your e-commerce store. You have to make sure that your categories and subcategories are making it very easy for your customers to shop. And you also want to make sure that it stays fresh, because you don't want a customer to log in June and then log in November and have that experience be the same on your website. They're not experiencing the same thing in your store. I know they're not. They're seeing different product. They're seeing a different total vibe in your store. If you decorate your store, they're feeling different decorations in your store. So you want to emulate that in your e-commerce solution as well.
It creates a vibrancy. You know what I mean? Like that's, oh, things are going on here. That this bakery is active. It's relevant to right now.
Right, and that's one of the big things that our bakery was really good at. It was really good at having a customer that decided that they wanted to stop in the bakery for maybe a smiley face cookie. Their kid was having a great day at school, so they stopped in, they got him a smiley face cookie, and then boom, the mom sees, oh, it's Sweetest Day next week, and I didn't even know that. I didn't even think about it. And then we had this really cute marketing and all this fun stuff, and you can just like quickly pick it up here on this visit. That's the same exact thing that you want to do, is keep your fresh and exciting ideas that you're all really creative people doing in your store. Do that online. Put, I think we have a slide that talks about this, but listing things in multiple areas on your e-commerce site so that you're not just hitting them. If they want bread rolls, let's say, maybe they just come to your bakery always for hot dog buns. That's your item. They're coming there all the time. Well, you might want to then put, like if you're having a hot dog bun, maybe you can put a hot dog shaped cake. Maybe if they're hot dog fans, they didn't even know you made hot dog shaped cakes, or little cupcakes that are shaped like that, or birthday cakes. I mean, that's a no-brainer. You're putting candles with it. Or I think that even getting really creative with ideas that you have, you're like, man, if somebody just like, they come in for this, but if they knew how good this was, whipped butter. That was a big thing that we did. We did flavor whipped butter. And if somebody was buying bread on our website, you sure saw that whipped butter as an add-on, right there in that, on that same screen, so they can be like, just add the whipped butter. It's like $5 and it's going to change the bread. So little things like that go a whole long way to get that ticket sale up, because it works. It's proven it works.
So this is a good one. Yeah. So this goes back actually to like sort of requirements now. So bakeries specifically have varying lead times for products, probably more so than I think any other retail business, right? So there are some things you can order online and get in 20 minutes as soon as you can get to the store to pick it up. Some things not until tomorrow, 10 a.m., right? Other things, custom cakes, maybe you've got to have 3 days notice, right? So this is another one of those features, which probably move it. Yeah, that out of the box should be working for you, and just being more flexible and more available to your customers again, where they are and when they need it.
Yeah, like just a little note about BakeSmart is that, you know, as software that is designed specifically for bakeries, it's one of those features like on an e-commerce store that really matters to bakeries alone, to Mike's point. A restaurant, usually you're assuming if you're ordering from a restaurant, you're eating dinner tonight or you're eating lunch right now. Bakeries, it's a very different shopping experience. You could be ordering an event for next week, but then you also want to like you're like, oh man, I want to pick up a coffee cake for the weekend too. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that your e-commerce site is clearly labeled and customers are having easy time shopping about all the different orders that they can place with you, associated with lead time specifically.
Again, this is back to the benefits, right? Automated systems just reducing risk of errors, right? You know you're getting the right thing, all of that.
Marketing. So yep, this is where we're going to get into a little bit of the tricks about keeping your marketing focused on that 20-minute commute. You know, if you have multiple locations at your bakery, then you're probably about 20 minutes apart, I would guess. Does anybody have any closer than that? Anybody? Not in this room, okay. We had 3 locations. They were almost exactly 20 minutes apart, and that actually makes a lot of sense because that is about how far somebody will drive to get a special treat from a bakery or to visit your shop. So you just want to make sure that you're doing things like even sponsoring local events in your community. All of that just rises not only your, you know, commitment to your community that just like helps you be a flagship of your community, but it also helps with that SEO. And now you're reaching people who might not be bakery people. There's oddly people who aren't bakery people in the world because they just have never, like if you're raised in a family that just didn't go to the local bakery all the time, you probably don't go to the local bakery all the time. But the minute all of a sudden you're like, wow, bakeries, I can't even believe how many people in our community didn't know about our bakery. Because and you probably feel like that too, because you have such a deep following from the ones that do come, that you're like, his neighbor doesn't even, they're not bakery people though. But I think they're not bakery people because they don't see enough of the marketing from bakeries. And this is what changes the game with e-commerce, because you can get in front of those people who maybe it's not in their normal rhythm, but then an ad pops up on Facebook. Using Facebook and Instagram even to locally target your community is such an effective tool, especially when it's linked directly to an e-commerce store where you can take their money right then and there. And then boom, you got a new customer that lives 10 minutes on the road that never stepped foot in your bakery. And e-commerce does that for you, unlike anything else.
Yeah. And so the next one is there's, you know, we talked a lot about e-commerce, which is actually like the inside of your store, outside of your store, where a customer can come and browse and buy and leave, right? Make sure Google is the front door to your virtual, or to your real bakery online, right? Like people come here and say, are you open? So is everyone in control of your Google My Business page? Do you all have that? Update your hours, all that? Okay. Cannot overstate how important that is.
Yeah, I learned firsthand experience.
Not so much with e-commerce, but it's just an online safety.
Well, it is. I mean, it is e-commerce, because anything that drives people to buy and spend money at your business, I consider part of your e-commerce agenda here, basically. And I mean, you can put all over your website, all over your Facebook site, wherever you're reaching your customers most efficiently, that you're closed early that day, or you're taking a vacation the following week, or whatever. But if you don't also update your Google business, new customers will be really teed off if they drive that 20 minutes to get to your bakery and then you're closed. I firsthand experienced that many times before. I was like, oh, I gotta be updating my Google business anytime I make any change in it. And it's also a great place to upload product photos with product descriptions. The same ones you're putting on your e-commerce store, put them on your Google listing, because that again just pushes this SEO, which makes you pop up to the 10 houses in every street that don't know about you. And then this is the engaging with your local community through social media, is the same thing. Partner with the pages of the fire departments and the organizations that are in your community. Make sure that you're connecting those online, also not just with their physical events. Make sure that you're commenting, doing things like that, because it really just shows that you're engaged in the online marketplace.
So click and collect, is anyone done click and collect where you order online and then you just go pick it up? You don't even talk to anybody and you're out of there? Never done that. I ordered some noodles when we were in the hospital when my baby was born. Just walked in, they're like, it's over there. I'm like, cool, thanks. Like, do you know how nice that was to not have to be like, hey, wait in line? Hey, my name's, yeah.
Particular point.
Yeah.
We have a lot of customers that come in and get a sign, please ask before you pick, because they take other people's orders.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Do you hear about that a lot?
No, honestly, it's
Orland Park,
yeah, it's honestly the opposite. So and but that's interesting. And I mean, obviously, I think that you have to understand your market specifically. What we did and what I've seen happen, we had this pretty large bakery in Illinois that just became a recent customer, and I went on site to them to see how their flow was, because they already use kind of a kiosk model in their bakery. And what they do is they actually set up these just like the Metro racks out in their storefront, and even on busy holidays, they're just lining up their orders, all paid for in advance, but their customers are well trained. And so I asked them, I said, that's interesting, because we did the click it and collects thing was something we launched in COVID and then kept, because we launched with DoorDash and all of the other delivery services. And I hated when the drivers would come in and then they would be like waiting in line, and now my DoorDash customer was waiting forever because the counter service was taking too long. And these drivers are professionals. They know what they're looking for, they grab it, they go, whatever. So we never did it with our regular orders, because I was like, to your point, what if somebody comes and takes somebody else's cake? That's crazy. But it's weird, because how often does that actually happen?
It happens a fair amount.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So something to make sure where you're putting your rack, wherever it is in the store, if you do like this idea to offer this kind of service, to make sure that you can at least keep an eye on it. Because usually when somebody's doing something with poor intention, you can kind of see that. And they're not just coming in and like stealing something and acting all cool about it. Or it's by complete and utter mistake. So maybe your racks aren't labeled correctly, or maybe they need more definition, or the boxes need to be labeled better and more boldly with the customer name. But there is a huge benefit to adopting some sort of system in your storefront that actually marries with your e-commerce, so customers can play, especially if you're selling same day, which is really powerful. If you can sell your cookie, things you'll never run out of. Your freezer's full of them if you have to replenish your cases. Those should be all same day. Let people just like order them, then you just have your store staff boxing, labeling, putting on the shelf, boxing, labeling, and then people are stopping by doing it. So I do agree with you that you have to make, obviously, whatever operational adjustments in your shop to make it like work well. I've seen it work well. It worked well at our bakery for how we used it, and I saw this other bakery that did it with all their orders. I was kind of blown away by it. Yeah.
That might be where you need to keep one person kind of supervised, just like you have somebody
Yes.
watching the kiosk and answering questions. That person could be
Lynn, I love that.
helpful.
That is what technology does, is it helps you kind of cultivate your sales team to have just a little bit more of a different role. They actually can go and like be a concierge to your customers in a way that it's really hard to find good store help. We all know that, right? We all know that it's good to find friendly people that are accurate, that know how to package your product the right way. So if you can like really hone in and say, hey, this person isn't great with people, they're not great at talking to people, but they can really pack a box well. They pay attention to detail, they work fast. Great, you're a packer. You're just pulling tickets out of the order kiosks that come in and you're packing and labeling. The girl that has the bubbly personality, or the guy that comes in and is like wants to talk to everybody, put him as your concierge. Let them be floating and watching that stuff. It's great. It's re-envisioning how your sales process works, basically.
And then driving traffic to e-commerce, again, just to circle back to that, is online only promotions, right? Announcing it when you, on your automated answering service, please place orders online. And then also in-store can direct people. There have been numerous times where I'm in a place and I'm like, oh, I could have done all of this at home. Okay, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Scan that QR code, let's get out of here, right? I'm not waiting in this line, right? But just to allow people to shop the way they want to shop. And then reward them for shopping the way you want them to shop, right?
Yeah, I think that it's really powerful. If your bakery isn't fully pushing people to your e-commerce store and you love the idea of bringing more technology into your sales process, one of the ideas that I think would work really well, and I've seen work, is that you even put stickers on boxes where every touch point they have with your bakery, you're encouraging them to go online, whether it's on a kiosk inside your store, order in the in-store kiosk or online and get 10% off your next order. What you're doing is training your customers. You don't have to run that promotion forever. You just do it enough because you want to get your customers comfortable with it. Okay, I can trust this. You want that 26% to keep growing and growing. And then you stop doing that. Or you pull back from the discount. You know what I mean? What you're doing is making a shift so that you can actually, this aging generation that doesn't like technology, they're growing out of who your big dollars are coming from. This younger generation that is throwing down the couple $100 every 3 or 4 months because of celebrations, they're younger. They're doing business on their phone. You got to figure out how to keep your bakery serving both parties. And I think pushing people to your e-commerce store is the way to do it.
So what's next?
Next steps. So our hope with this is that you guys just like kind of take away some inspiration to look at your current e-commerce plan. How do you make it better? Are you updating it regularly? Are you throwing all of the attention you should be at it? Are your pictures really good? If not, freshen them up. Do all of that kind of stuff. Make sure that your entire team understands your drive to this. This isn't about us replacing employees. This is about making our employees more productive so that they make you more money. In the end, that's what we want. We want to take this workforce and help them work smarter for us so that we basically can build more margin into what we're earning every day. And then obviously, we would love for you guys to check out us. We're really, really passionate about the future right now. There is tons and tons of opportunity for us and any technology company to serve the bakery industry. It has been a well underserved industry for far too long, and it is our mission and our passion to take technology to it. So,
Yeah, we're
Michael?
one of the ones that's been underserving it. No, so yeah, for 20 years we've been developing software to meet the needs of today's retail bakers, right? And starting 20 years ago, we were on the world of technology was very different, right? So we've kind of been riding that platform as far as it'll take us, and are actually in the process now of changing platforms, right? So just think of dinosaurs just becoming beautiful birds that want to fly. That's the metamorphosis we're in right now, of building a cloud app that's going to be able to do all of the things we've already talked about here very cleanly, very easily. We're really, really excited about it. We got some, I do this every time, you said goosebumps earlier, so this is going to sound insincere, but we got some screens designed of like what the order flow is going to look like for ordering cakes just in our app, right? We hired him. He's actually my best friend from first grade, who's a fabulous designer in our city, and there's a great tech scene there. But the first time we looked at him, I was like, oh, this is it. This is how people want. I've been designing our screens up till now. I'm a hack. I don't know. I do my best, right? And then try and run a business. But to see what professional design and professional modern technologies can do, and the foundation it can lay for us moving forward and to build upon, to do gamified loyalty, to really get into kiosks, to automation, to click and collect, all these different things that we touch on and we do as best we can, but we're at the limit of how well we can do it, right? We can't push it any further. So we're excited to sort of reset ourselves and then do some really exciting things in 2025.
Yeah, and we can show you one of the websites. You want to show them Bethel's site?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a today customer. Obviously.
Yeah, this is a today's customer, and one of the things that you'll see, even if we show you a few different ones, Splurge or Bethel.
Okay, we'll do it.
We
We'll hurry.
can do Splurge.
Does anybody have questions also? Anything you want to come? Just shout them out.
I don't know if this is the customer that you're pulling up, but you had mentioned they had a really sweet newsletter.
Yeah.
How often do they put that out?
It depends. So I asked to be on it because I saw what they were doing, and I was like, I kind of want to pick apart what you guys got going on. It depends. At least once a day.
They send out a newsletter once a day.
And sometimes I get twice a day from them, and they're just in people's inboxes. And many times, I know, but there are ways to do this where you are literally spending 2 hours a week. You're planning all your emails and you're scheduling them out.
It's not the doing it, it's that
people do, you think that they can unsubscribe. They don't have to be part of it. So you gotta, I mean, it's law. Any program you use has to give them an unsubscribe option. Let them unsubscribe. This isn't about, to me, it's like, just, do you think Starbucks worries about that? Do you think that Coca-Cola is like, oh, we don't want to talk to people too much? They don't think about that. So I feel like bakeries have the loyalty that is so unique. Like the bakeries are, we all know, bakeries are the heart of your community. They want more of you. Even as the world gets crazier and crazier and crazier, right? It's crazier today than it was Friday. Like, so we all need that warm and fuzzy like feeling, and who better than the community bakery to give it to our customers? So I don't think you have to do it once a day, especially if you don't have an e-commerce store that's as fun and built out as theirs. They have hundreds of cakes. They've been doing this a long time. They're not new to this. So if you are just learning or deciding to like really throw your efforts into building out your e-commerce solution, do it once a week. Even if you're in your inbox every Tuesday morning. That goes a whole long of a way. And then let people unsubscribe. If they don't want it, you don't have to worry about that.
And then there are email marketing programs that you can have them self-sort and be like, hey, just give me the weekly digest, right? Give me the monthly, what's going on, or hey, I want to know about daily specials.
Yeah,
right?
and
So
if you're offering, and if you're offering something to them, trust me, they're going to click to see what the offer is.
And then the 875,000 they did in 2023, what percentage of their business is that?
That was 51% of their orders.
Their orders, but then they have 2 retail locations doing healthy retail business. Yeah, they're busy all the time. They're one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's great organization on this site, right? So you see cakes here, and then you can scroll down and into this and get to graduation, right? But on that home screen was also graduation, right? So if you're going right to here.
Go to their banner too.
Yep, and then, so their banner, this is all the, hey, get pastries, come in the morning, don't forget.
And this banner changes, like on their website, this banner changes at least every week.
Yeah.
Where they're, whatever, you know, if it's like National Donut Day or National Hot Chocolate Day, they're putting something on it. Angel Food Cake. And
these link right to.
you click it, it takes you right to the Angel Food Cake. They just launched their loyalty program with BakeSmart this morning. Got a quick email. I saw the email that went out, and it's just really impressive what they have done to drive business to it. And they're really committed to it, yeah. And so you want to show them Splurge?
Yep.
Because Splurge is fun.
This is fun. So these folks do same day ordering, or you can order at a later date. And they just have really fun stuff sometimes. Like this flag, that's, I mean, come on. A couple dozen cupcakes.
Mike's
That's
really
right,
impressed with that flag.
I love
To
this
me, I
flag.
was like,
yeah. Like, look at
It's
that.
cute.
That's fun. Little
It's
star
cute.
sprinkles.
But see how they did
It's
that? They
cute.
put that, you know, the all-American apple pie with their, you know, they just like inspired customers. If you were interested in that cake, but you saw that apple pie, you're like, damn, that apple pie looks good. I want that too.
I mean, I mean, this is a fun way to try and sell 2 dozen cupcakes for $100. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, if you can get it, do it. Taking the customer along on the ride of creation, right? So cakes, they've got fun and crazy cakes. They've got their rainbow cake, which you can order with a candy filling or without, right? Which is just like, oh, I designed that. There are some here where you can add it. They have options where you can just add an extra layer, right, and make it extra tall. This one's already tall as it is. But it's just like, oh, I had a part in determining the height and shape of this cake, and it's going to be perfect for my party because I got to click a button. People are, we're not, you know what I mean? Like,
Simple creatures.
We're
that
very
just-
simple. We're very simple. We just want to think that we're in charge of the world around us so we feel safe. And if you can do that with a cake, right on, you know? So, yeah, just fun stuff, good pictures. Yeah, that's just, I don't know, it's fun. It inspires joy for me, you know what I mean? To like, oh wow, what are those? What are all those things on there? It's candy, it's fun.
Any other questions or comments? Yeah?
I was just gonna comment, the best thing Mike has done is hire you.
Oh, well, thank you.
I believe
We're
that.
really gonna expand the way BakeSmart can be used.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like when we run bakeries, I mean, I don't run one right now anymore, but it's only been a year since I've been out of it, and I feel like our heads are in our mixers, our heads are in our ovens, our heads are in the drama, and I feel like sometimes we just need to like pull back a little bit and find community and support, because nobody knows what it feels like unless you're in it. But I also believe fully, I don't know if it was this group that I said this, there is not a better way to teach a work ethic to a younger generation than giving them a job at a bakery. Because there is, and I feel like we as bakery owners, like all bakery owners need to be really passionate about developing this next generation of workers. And but they're different. They're different than how we were even, like I was taught how to work. Not everybody is taught how to work. These kids are coming up and you gotta meet them where they're at. And I feel like technology is a big part of giving you the freedom to develop these people and these team members in totally different ways that really talk to them and they understand it. So I think that this goes far beyond sales. I think it goes into building culture at your bakery. It goes into building really solid marketing that will continue to feed your business as you go forward. So I'm super excited about the future. What Mike and Jared and the team at BakeSmart have decided to invest in taking this to the cloud and blowing out some of these features is kind of going to be revolutionary. So we are so excited to like kind of showcase it all at IBIE next year. And that's our we're racing towards that date to have some really cool stuff to show. So.
Yeah. So what happened was I asked Shellie if she could help out at IBIE in 2022, and she's like, "Yes, I would love to." And I'm like, "Great! Like, let's get to know each other a little bit better." I know she was planning on exiting with her mom from the bakery, and then they did that, and she called me, and she was like, "Hey, so bakery sold. I think you guys need me." And she's like, you guys are a bit of a mess. And I was like, are we? Really? And she's like, yes, and I'm a professional organizer. And I was like, all right, that sounds great. Okay, sure. No, and it's been amazing.
It's been a lot of fun.
Not only fostering community, right, which you've been incredible at, but just as you guys have your heads in your mixers and your ovens, we are stuck in our development queue and our support queue, and how are we going to market this? And we got to get a newsletter done this week, and well, we haven't done one in months. And when we're deciding what to build, what to fix, how to approach these problems, it's all been, one, we're very reactive in responding to complaints we get, or bugs, just like any software does, so it's not a scary word. But as we go to fix them, we had a somewhat arbitrary way of determining what needed to be addressed first, and to have a baker's voice in those meetings was initially very frustrating because we were used to just kind of fly by night, but it's added so much structure and value and context to the work we do that it's made it so much more exciting, right? It feels, I don't want to say adversarial, you know what I mean? Because bakeries are our customers. I love you guys. I've been working with you for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like these are the people I talk to and surround myself with every day. And
but Mike doesn't know what it's like to run a bakery. And he's
I know, and
trying
that's that
to
I'll never do it.
Yes, exactly.
I'll never do it. I've been in them. To have a voice and to feel more like we're championing the cause than surviving it. And it's been awesome. Yeah. And we're just a little love fest up here. All right, thanks, Lynn. That's cool.
Does your software, is it creating a website or helping you create a website, or it is the website, or
it's a great question.
An app? What's your cost per service?
Yeah, it is the e-commerce environment, right? So from catalog to cart to pick your checkout dates and when you want to pick it up.
It's everything you just saw,
payment.
Basically. But there are bakeries that don't have a website. They use their Facebook page because Facebook.
It's free and easy.
Well, it's free and easy, and it's a community-driven platform, and your bakery is a community-driven business. So, because of the whole 20-mile thing, 20-minute thing, you know what I mean? So it's such a no-brainer. And so then, like Rick's Bakery, I think it is, right?
The next one?
Well, basically what they do is they just link their web presence, their entire website is just their e-commerce store.
Yeah.
So they have their Facebook page, and then if you go to our website, it just takes you to their BakeSmart e-commerce store.
That's how Taylor's Bakery in Indianapolis
Taylor's is,
You go to Facebook and it takes you straight to our site. Pricing, we posted online. We're not afraid of our pricing.
it's here. We have 3 packages. Enterprise is going to get you the BakeSmart Online. These prices are going to change very soon, most likely, as we move to the cloud. It's just a different dynamic. We have rather large onboarding fees right now because it's a lot of work, to, as Lynn can tell you, to set up BakeSmart, the dinosaur version right now. The Bird version, very quick, lot lighter touch. It'll all be faster, so it's actually going to get a lot more affordable on the setup side of things. So we don't know what that is yet. I'm going to figure it out soon, well before it's available.
But you could run an app off that, off your software.
You could wrap it. You could wrap an app around that URL. I don't know how great that experience would be right now. Our goal for Cloud BakeSmart, as it's coming, is yes, to have app capabilities to be able to write apps for our customers. Yeah. With varying levels of capability.
I'm going to cut it a little
Yep.
bit.
Yeah,
We
go
do
ahead.
need to take the tour of the innovation
It's cool.
center.
You wanna
for
see
sure.
it?
Yeah.